heading out on the 310 GS. It's a bike that I have been harsh on it, I've got to be honest. I was in Lynmouth a couple of months ago, maybe over the summer sometime, and there was one parked up there and it looked quite good, so I went to have a look around it, and there was a guy sat next to it. I said, "Is it yours?" He said, "It might be." I sort of said, "Well, is it yours or not?" He said, "It is." I said, "Well, do you like it?" He says, "I do." "But you don't like it, do you?" And I said, "What do you mean?" He says, "I saw your video with Bennett's when I did a review of the 310 against the Himalayan." And to be honest, I was a bit harsh on it, and I think the reason was, in that instance, I'd bought the Himalayan and I'd done 10,000 miles on it at that point, and I knew what it was and what it wasn't. And then the guy with the GS had only done 400 miles and it was a loaner bike. So when somebody tells you your bike's shit and theirs is brilliant, and theirs has been given as a loaner for free for a bit, it kind of just rubs you up the wrong way. And so I was probably a little bit harsher on the 310 GS than maybe it deserved. It's been interesting, the feedback on the GS from the people who've been down to ride the bikes. I think a lot of people do find it underwhelming. I think maybe there's an expectation, as I said in the shop, that it's going to be a really good fiery product because it's a BMW, and I think therefore the expectation is high. And then they get off it, especially in the morning after a bit of a ride, and they think, I don't really get it. I don't really get its strength. The CRF, they get off and they say, "Wow, great trail bike, I can see why you buy that." Himalayan, they say, "Wow, fantastic value," and just the way it makes power and how easy it is to ride and how relaxed, so they like that. The KTM, they get blown away by the power of it on the road. Yes, they find it hard work off-road because it's cramped, but you know, it's got that wow factor of the power. And then they step off the GS and say, I just don't get it. It's a nothing bike. And I think that in itself is why it does eventually shine through, because by the end of the day, when you're cold, wet, and you've been on the road for a few hours, the fact that it's comfortable, easy to ride, it's got a pretty willing engine, it's not overly demanding, and it's a bit brisker than, say, the Himalayan, and it's more road orientated than the CRF, and it's not as frantically boisterous as the KTM. Then I think the GS then starts to shine. So I think it's a bike that really needs more miles on it to get the best out of it. And I think it could have been better. I think that's the ultimate problem with it. And I think you can see that when you fit the Rally Raid kit. You know, all bikes benefit from bit better suspension and bits bolted onto them, but I've never known such a dramatic change as to when you bolt on the Rally Raid kit onto the 310 GS. It turns it into sort of a bit of a flat commuter, slightly, you know, underwhelming bike, into something that really excels, certainly on the trails, where the suspension just transforms the ride quality of the bike and the capability of the bike. And so I imagine for the designers of the 310 GS back in Germany, I imagine there was a real tussle and a frustration that the potential was there in the chassis for a great bike, and then ultimately, because it had to come in at a certain price point, and I think largely because they were trying to leverage sales in the developing markets of India and Southeast Asia, where it needed probably to come in at a lower price, then that product was the quality of the product was diminished coming at you know, at a lower price. So I would imagine there was some frustration there, and I think, given the fact that the Rally Raid kit enhances it so much, just goes to show how slightly underdeveloped it was when BMW launched it, or how pared back it was, if that makes any sense. Thank you. But as I've ridden this 310 GS, and so as I've owned it, ridden it alongside the other four bikes, it also has gone to impress me as well. I do like its zippy single-cylinder engine. It's not fast, but it's punchy. It's not 390 fast, not by any stretch of the word. But it's a nice revvy single-cylinder engine. I mean, oddly, it revs to 10,000 RPM, which is really high for a single. I've still never really got used to this clutch, if I'm honest. And I have made an adjustment, but I don't think I made it any better. What's this guy doing? Oh, for fuck's sake. So it's got a really light flywheel mass, which means it's very revvy and probably suited the R model really well. But It's just a bit light for a chuggy dual sport and adventure bike, and therefore it's not got a lot of chug at the bottom end, which means it stalls easily. And I think that's made it slightly not as novice friendly as it could be. I'm surprised they didn't change that for production, because I think if you were a novice rider trying a few bikes out down at the BMW dealer, trying a 310 GS to see what you thought of it, and you set off on it and you stored it a few times, then I think that could really put you off, and it also knock your confidence as a rider. It's very different to, say, the 390 KTM, which in stark contrast is very good at the bottom end. You can do donuts, figure of eights, tight circles, one-handed with your hand off the clutch, and it won't stall in first. It's just such a lovely tractable bike, and that translates well to on the trails when you're down in first gear and you're dealing with the gloop and the slop and the tree roots. The fact that the engine isn't trying to stall all the time is a real help, whereas a 310, you're always having to feather that clutch and keep it revving to prevent it from stalling, and in that regard I don't find it very novice friendly. I think the suspension also, as I've said with the rally raid kit, you know, better suspension transforms the bike, and there's nothing wrong with the standard suspension 70% of the time. When I find it gets out of shape is when you just push on that little bit harder and it starts to chatter a lot, even on the road. It's a lot of high frequency bumps, you know, even like on this road, the tarmac is rippled, and as soon as you start hitting that a little bit faster, almost like the suspension, certainly at the front, just spasms. It sort of firms up, and then it starts to throw you wide. It can't multitask, the suspension, and it reminds me of the standard suspension on a CB 500X, which I took around Scotland. That was the same. You know, let's get around this chap. You just couldn't tip it into a corner on bumpy surface and expect it to toe a line. It would always try and stand itself up, and it's just a bit disappointing. Again, the rally raid suspension improved the 500X just as it does the 310. So that's it. We're going to aim for a trail or two. I'm probably being a bit optimistic with how far I'm going to get on these trails on these tyres, because it's very wet. There's some exposed stone, but I kind of just wanted to get a benchmark of where I'm at before I stick the Kenda big blocks on. What I would say with the 310, which I don't think helps it a great deal, is that they've stuck to the same width of tyre, diameter of tyre, not diameter, width of tyre as the R model. So it's got a very broad 150 on the rear, which is actually the same as the Moto Guzzi V85 that I have, and it's got the same 110 width on the front as the V85 TT. So it's a very broad tyre for quite a light, lithe bike, and what that means is that it doesn't cut through mud, it sort of just squirms on mud, whereas say the 90 on the front of the, it's a 90-90-21 on the front of the Himalayan and on the CRF, whereas that sort of tyre that will cut through the mud, and even on a poor tyre give you some sort of traction. This broad tyre on the GS, just as I say, it just skids out, and so you have to be very careful not to overweight the front end, not lean on it too heavy, just to try and try and make sure you're not off camber on it, because it will just wash out, and it takes a lot more focus. So the ways in which I would improve the 310 GS, slimmer tyres, better suspension, but the rest is pretty good. As I say, I'm a bit harsh on it, and so I apologise to that guy in Linton, because nobody wants to hear somebody bag their bike out. It's the same when people say that the Himalayan's not very good. You kind of get very defensive, and that's understandable, because you spent time on a bike, you like it, it does what you need it to do. Somebody comes along and says, oh, I don't like that, and you say, well, maybe you're wrong, and that's fine. Okay, second gear, nice gearbox on this 310. It's got a nice riding position as well, to be honest. That's what I like about it. It's nice and roomy, it's got a big bike feel to it, and that's what makes it comfortable on the road. I've got to be honest, up here we've got some exposed stone, so it's actually quite grippy up here. There's no spin on the back. Second gear, just gentle throttle. Gets a bit gnarlier up this section. Don't know if you can see that. Let me just stop it, make sure I'm recording right. Yeah. So we've got, you know, 3 lines. I know the front, I know the middle line gets quite choppy near the top, but actually, with that regard, let's go left line. Let's go left line, because they have cut the edge back a bit. What does they say? Preparation is everything. All right, first gear, second. Let's try and get into second. Neutral stance. Yeah, that front. It's just that front. It's trying to follow the flow of the terrain, but it's manageable, you know. Just trying to lean off the bike. Yeah. I mean, that engine's quite nice and tractable, to be honest. I'm not feathering the clutch. I've just got it in second. Yeah, I'm down into. Come on, little GS. Prove me wrong. I mean, that's actually generating pretty good traction on that mud. I have struggled up here on the CRF, to be honest. Wow, fair play. Fair play. Come on, clean that, clean that, clean that, clean that. Not bad at all, that. I've got to say. Oh, I always, you know what, I'm too quick to judge a bike. I think it's all of our problems. We're too quick to judge. We've really got to spend some time on a bike before we can really say whether it's good, bad or indifferent. It's why I've been reluctant to put that Sinis T380 video up, because I recorded some footage as I was riding it, and I've got to be honest, I was pretty cruel to it. I've got to say that 310 was good then. Yeah, I was pretty cruel to that Sinis, because in a lot of ways it was a decent bike, the T380. It handled itself well off-road, it was well poised, beautiful control, so good clutch, good throttle input. It was really well, it was a refined machine. And in a lot of ways, actually, I prefer, when I rode it back to back with the 310, in some ways it was better. It felt more sure-footed on the dirt, which was quite surprising. I thought the suspension was a little bit better damped. And it's comfortable, and you get the panniers with it, and it's got a nice sort of feel to it. You know, it doesn't feel cheap, but the gearing on it is awful, and it's so busy and strained. You know, you get at 50 miles an hour and it feels like it's going to blow itself up. And it needs a gearing change in, which is not a big deal, but you can't help but feel that they put the wrong engine in that bike. That 34 brake horsepower engine, twin, in a bike that weighs over 200 kilos is just blunt. And so whereas you expect it to be a little bit quicker than a Himalayan, I would say the Himalayan, well, it's certainly got a more charismatic engine. And so therefore the Sinis doesn't outperform the Himalayan. Not by any means, really. And the 310 GS engine feels a lot peppier because it's almost 40 kilos lighter, the bike. So I do wonder with that 380 if they put the wrong engine in it. Now, there was option of the RX4 engine, so Zongshen are the manufacturers of the bike, Sinis are the importers and the rebadgers of the bike. In America, the Zongshen bike is badged as a CSC, and they have the RX3, which is a 250 single. I don't know if they brought it in or not, but the RX3S is the T380, the same bike. And then they've got the RX4, which is the single cylinder 43 brake horsepower engine, which is the same as, I believe, is that's in the Fantic Caballero 500, which is a cracking engine. Obviously it's going to be blunted a bit by the extra weight of the Sinis over, say, the Fantic, but it's a good punchy engine. And I kind of felt that Sinis package with that engine in it, and that extra power and the extra alertness and excitement of a single cylinder engine would have suited that bike better, or equally a 500cc twin, because that's, you know, the Sinis, you think, well, it's got the same power as a Himalayan. Oh, it's got the same performance as a Himalayan. Whoop, thanks mate, cheers. But it's down on power and legs to sort of a CB500X. I know it's cheaper than a CB500X, but you can get some really good deals on that bike. Same with the Benelli TRK 502. Yes, it's a little bit bigger and a little bit heavier, but it's got 13 extra horsepower, and I think that's a big difference. And so that Sidis T380, I don't really know what to say about it, because it's not a bad bike at all, but I just can't see where it finds its place in the market with any great success. At nearly £5,000 with the luggage, it puts you into the realm of the CB500X or the Benelli or a V-Strom 650, and without any real USP, it's hard to see it challenging, say, the Himalayan. Or even this 310GS. You know, when you can get a good 310GS for £3,400, you kind of think, well, why would you spend nearly £5,000 for a Sidis? So certainly not that it's a bad bike, I just wonder if it's the right bike for the market. Oh, I tell you what, I really oh, we're going to walk it. We're going to walk it. I never had a walker down here before. That's interesting. Must be lost. Oh, thanks, mate. Cheers, mate. You have a good one. As I say, better suspension on this 310, because you can tell, right, I'm just picking up the pace slightly as I roll downhill, and the suspension's very choppy. It's doing it, but it's choppy. And what's interesting when you listen to what you hear or talk to Rally Raid, BMW, obviously to save money, only put a spring in one of the fork legs. The other fork leg, I believe, is empty, or has got a empty cartridge. I'm not entirely sure of the exact technical wording, but they tell you. So it's only got one spring, and clearly there's a reason why up until recent years, or up until BMW or other brands have tried to save money, there's a reason that they've always put two springs in a bike. Whoops a daisy, go out of shape then. Come on, get your head back into it. Get your head back into it. I believe the Rally Raid upgrade still only includes a single shop at the front, but it certainly improves it. We've had some rain. Oh, we've had some rain. But I'm impressed with the grip from these Torrance tyres. Not bad at all. Are you still with me, or have you turned off to listen to Matt Hancock put us into another tier? I think he's on right now. Okay, see you at the next trail. Okay, we're coming up to that slightly technical uphill climb. It's been interesting to see how it does on this. Again, we've got mud, rock. It's quite daunting actually at this bottom end of it. Yeah, a bit more tyre grip, a bit alright. But it's going, you know, it's going. And it's actually manageable on the power. Oh, sorry, after you. Oh, mate, you alright?
Right. Easier on the bike. I used to come up here on the mountain bike.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
It's hard work on mountain bike up here though, isn't it? I tried it.
Yeah, up and down.
Yeah.
Great fun coming down.
But going up,
Yeah.
I think I had to push it up here up mountain bike. I don't think I could pedal up it when I came.
A few times on the bike.
Right.
Haven't pushed it at all. But like the drier weather as well in this time of year.
No chance, have you?
Too down
It is.
Yeah. Are you going all the way?
Yeah, I'll get up and then along tops. Yeah. I've got to try. It's a bit knobbly around that corner, isn't it?
Yeah, there's quite a few
steps.
Yeah, quite a few steps. I see that there's been like obviously some kind of 4x4 that's
up here,
up and down here.
I'll give it a go. If you hear a loud smash, you know what's coming.
Yeah. Is that a full on?
No, it's kind of road bias really, but it's, you know, it's, if you treat it as it was intended, it's all right, you know. Sort of slow, gentle.
Yeah.
Try not to fall off, really. New Year's in hospital wouldn't be very good.
No, especially not at the moment.
No, it wouldn't.
Enjoy it, anyway.
You too. Have a safe walk down.
No, it's quite slippery in places.
Yeah, it is. I don't know if I'm safe on bike or on my fit on or walking.
My other half always says I'm a Capricorn. My other half always says I'm like a mountain goat. I don't normally tend to slip down anywhere at all. So.
Well, I'm a Capricorn as well, so fingers crossed. Yeah. You have a good New Year.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Take care. Okay, up we go. Big step, big step, big step. I'm going to cross over. I tell you what. Just quick thoughts on that GS coming up there. I don't know what it is about it. It's whether the fact it is a well balanced bike, and that the engine is actually quite tractable low down. You can take it, or it feels like you can take it at a slower pace, and therefore pick a cleaner line. I'm trying, you know, compared to say the CRF 250 Rally, I think the confidence of the chassis and the tyre size and everything else. See, I just stalls it, just stalls there. Ah, it's this funny old engine, this. It means that you kind of take liberties on the CRF 250, which means you can get yourself into a little bit of trouble. You know, you don't take the cleanest line, you're not always as engaged as maybe you could be, and therefore you make mistakes. I know the other day I just seem to make loads of little minute mistakes on the CRF, which you don't seem to do on a bike where you have to focus a bit more. But there's something about the GS that allows you to take a breath and plot your route. Like coming up there then, it was perfectly poised to come to almost a dead stop, look up, see that I was going to struggle up the stone face, and therefore to go around it, to pick a different line. The CRF obviously would have just bounded up that stone face. But that's not, so it's not to say that the GS can't do it, it just needs a different technique and a different approach that is flexible to what you're going to encounter. And I think that's relevant to say if you're going to use this bike for the TET, the Trans-European Trail. I definitely think this bike could do it, and I don't see any reason why it couldn't, even in standard form. I think there'll be patches of it that are going to be tricky. Ground clearance for one are going to be probably your biggest issue. But I see on the forums people saying, you know, is it a TET bike? Well, I've got to be honest, I can't see why not. The ultimate test though, that I'm going to put it through today, for me, is that climb that I've used in a few of the videos, which took me 4 or 5 attempts on the KTM. That video, that lane. I think if it can get up there, or if I can get it up there, because I think you've got to be very careful of blaming the bike for something that you can't do. And you know, you see it in the comments. Oh, I didn't realise you'd get that bike could go up there, or I didn't realise that bike was that good or bad. I guess it works both ways. But the bike can only do so much. You know, the rider's obviously got to do the rest of it. And so whether I'm able to get this bike up that terrain, I don't know. I know I struggled with the KTM in the way I didn't struggle with the CRS. So it is a bit of a strange, you know, you've got a relationship. Oh, fucking talking bollocks. Yeah, we've got another trail rider up here. We've got another trail rider, but he's on proper stuff. He's on a bloody... Is he going to stop? Is he going to stop? Hey mate! I think he's lost. I hope he don't follow me. Yeah, just got to watch it on here. It's quite skittish at the front. Just watch out, he's probably going to be overtaking me at any time, any moment now. That line, my line's all over the place. Slight bit distracted. I think we're in third gear now, a little bit bobbly, don't want to push too hard. But it's perfectly fine. Just watching, again, watching that front end. I'm watching out for cambers, gullies that I might wash away into. To me, with dirt riding, once you've got used to its unpredictable nature, it allows you to make predictions on how the bike is going to respond to the terrain. And once you've tuned into that, it's just about being alert and anticipating how your bike's going to respond. And that only comes with time on the bike, really, time on the trails. Have I got a man behind me? No, I don't have a man behind me. And so people will get a bit frustrated, I think, when they struggle with green lane in it to begin with, but the problem is none of it is the natural instinct. The way a bike moves, whoa, and moves around, whoop. None of it is natural, and it takes time to adjust and to feel confident and to get a feel for when the bike's going to go. I mean, at the minute these tyres are awful on this terrain, and it just shows mud is mud, but it's not. Some mud's good, some mud's bad, some mud's grippy, some mud's not. So the mud up here is like clay, like wet clay, and it's very icy, very slippy, certainly on these tyres, whereas the mud coming up some of those other climbs, that's pretty good grippy mud. So you've got to expect a change in behaviour to tyres, to mud, to everything really. And I think you can never get complacent. That's the biggest hazard, I think, with trail riding: complacency. You get confidence of your ability, you get confidence of your bike, you push on too hard, and then it all comes unstuck. Yeah, I think I've got an Husqvarna Trail, an Enduro bike behind me. I'm sure he could pass me. I'm sure he could pass me. I mean, it's fast there. You got quite a bit of poke there. That was quite a nice burst of acceleration. I've got to be honest, the engine does perform pretty well on trails. Once you get it rolling and you can get around that sort of easy store nature of it, you know, you adjust to that. It's actually a pretty usable engine. I can see why Adam at Rally Raid sort of likes it, raves about it. It is smoother than the 390 engine. Oh, we've got a deep puddle here. Let's slow down. First gear. Oh, nice. Nice lane. Alright, mate.
You alright?
Yeah, you alright? Bit wet.
It is, isn't it? Some deep bits.
Very deep.
Yeah, across. I come from West Down, and across. I don't know what track it is, but yeah, I mean, I stood up.
Ah, yeah. yeah. It's like a river all the way down the track, isn't it?
Hey?
It's like a river, it's like a canal almost.
Yeah, obviously, you know, tractors have made it, haven't they? And it's just, but it's not actually rocky underneath, so.
No. Where are you heading to now?
I don't know, really. I'm just exploring, just going out for a bit, you know.
Do you know many at lanes, or?
I only got this enduro bike this summer, really, so I'm just starting to explore.
Okay, just picked up Jamie, who's on a KTM, no, Husqvarna enduro bike. He was just behind me on that trail, just stopped for a chat. He lives in the area, just moved down, I think. He's just out for a spin, so nice to have a bit of company, to be honest. It's always better safety in numbers. So he's going to follow us onto the next few lanes. We've got some nice, good lanes. See how this 310 GS coats. But yeah, impressed actually. I'm surprised. I think you need to give a bike time to shine, and today, much like I did with the KTM 390, it's given it a chance to shine. And it's working pretty well off-road. Working pretty well, even with the tyres. See you on the lane. Have you done this one before?
No, I've always wondered what's up this way.
Yeah, it's a good. So it goes on through forest, pretty flat but wet and boggy,
Yeah.
and then it rises up and joins that road up there.
Right.
So it's kind of probably, I don't know, a mile long or something. I would have thought, maybe a mile long.
Right, okay.
It feels longer.
Yeah, that.
I mean, do you want me to go in? I don't know how fast you are. Maybe I'll hold you up, but
No, you go, and I'll just hang my back off you. I don't want to get too close, sort of thing. But
yeah.
stop at the junction or whatever.
Well, I'll stop at the before it climbs up. I'll stop there. Yeah. Right. Alright, let's see how this GS does in this sloppy, gloopy first gear. Come on. Come on. It does alright actually. It bites traction there. Finds traction nicely. I think what helps with helps the GS. Oh, that's deeper than it looked. Helps GS is those nice wide bars. You got good leverage on them. You know, the standing position is very reminiscent of a 1200 GS. And I think that's a good thing. It does lead you towards a more straight-legged stance, which I know I get told off for at Sweet Lamb. I am a bit of a straight-legged rider. I'm going to try and get out of that tendency. Down we go. Oh, good. That's my bar end gone. That's talking too much, that is. That's broke my handguard. It was shit handguards anyway, but I still didn't really want to. Yeah, talking too much, that. Just shows, you know, split second you're down. Oh, it was upsetting. Oh well. I hate that section there though, to be honest. Looks like a 4x4 or something's been up here. It just shows as well, those handguards, when you're buying handguards, or if a bike's got handguards on it, unless they've got a steel outer, they're absolutely no good whatsoever. They're more just wind deflectors. Because luckily, whoa, okay, oh, that's deep. That's deeper than it looks. Yeah, it's a bit deep, isn't it? I think they've had some 4x4s through here. I don't think it's going to. I don't think it's going to ride out. You ready? 1, 2, 3. Nice. There might be a rider out, eh? You might be able to ride it out. What gear is it in there? Yeah. I think if you hit that at any speed, you'd be over. Nope. Let's see what it might be. It might be a...
Oh, yeah, that's really...
Yeah, it's buried, isn't it? You're alright? Oh, if I can never ruin your kit, mate. Huh?
No.
I bet you're glad you came down here now.
Do well on these tyres.
Yeah, it's a bit slippy. It's a bit slippy. There we go. She's out. Alright, I'm going up. I've got it. You alright?
Yeah, I'm right.
Alright, try and get it to actually. Yeah, I'm going to listen. Oh, sorry, mate. You're right. Ready? There we go. Yeah, I think about 4x4 is up. I think it's going to make that next section interesting up there. Are you alright?
Yeah, fine, close. Yeah, I'll get out your way.
No, you're alright. Wowzers. That's like quicksand, isn't it?
Yeah, sort of.
Yeah, it's very boggy. Yeah, I'd say they got stuck looking at. I'd probably use them branches to get them some traction. Cheers for that. Actually, let's try that. Good old 4x4s, eh? Fucking ruined that track. Yeah, glad I went on my own. Good lesson there. They don't take anything for granted. Never assume a trail's not going to have changed. Because it bloody has done in that case. Up branch, up. Fucking branch. Clear that out of the way. And it could really do with getting out this rut. It's embarrassing, isn't it? I never fall off twice with an audience. Oh, it's so embarrassing. So embarrassing. It's not falling off, it's if people see you. Oh, my pride is wounded. Oh, fucking hell, my boot. Oh, I think this poor GS is going to have been battered by the time I get it back. But it's doing alright, you know. Well, built for adventure. Thank God it is. Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, you wankers. You 4x4 wankers. I don't mean it if you're watching this, I love you really. We're all in this together. We're all in your ruts together. And I love your ruts. Your ruts are so good. So deep, so sludgy, so slippery, so hazardous. I love it. Oh. That was good, clean fun.
Yeah.
How's it on that, alright?
Yeah, it's not too bad, yeah. I mean, I'm only really learning. I haven't done much off-road, really. A little bit in there. But I thought, you know...
Give it a go. Yeah, it's perfect time to be honest. If you get used to riding on this. It's a bit steppy midway up.
Right.
So either... I mean, you're a bit better on that, but... There's a cleaner line to the left if you can get over to it.
Right.
It depends what those guys...
We've done, yeah.
Yeah. Bless them. Come on, GS. I'm not sure how we're going to tackle this actually. I'm going to go first gear. Up. First gear. I'm going to try and pick that line. No, fuck it. Okay, first gear. Come on, come on. Just feather. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Come on. Ah. Oh wow, still can't believe that's finding traction. And it's all throttle, it's all... God. Throttle, 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 throttle. Pretty good traction there actually, I've got to say. Oh, hard work. Oh, salvation. Oh, good one that. Well, that was adventures in your own backyard. What difference would a set of knobblies made? Let's say, what difference? Bit more confidence, really. You know, you would still have got stuck in that bog because that bog was just one of those things. That was deeper than the wheel could cope with. Even on a 21, I think if you'd have struggled if you'd have got stuck in that. Different knobblies are made, a bit more confidence with the throttle. But I have to say, what made that manageable And this is where you have to really focus, you have to really engage your sensors, because you can feel that back end track gaining traction, you can feel it spinning, starting to slipping faster, and that's where you just have to be so engaged with the throttle, just to wind that back in just a tad, just a touch. And so rather than throttlers on off or in sort of quarter turn increments, it's all about that fine control with the throttle. And the 310GS, to be fair, allows you to do that. And oh, horse. Hey mate, you alright? Oh, another one. One out horsepower versus 34. I still think he'd win. Oh, steady, steady. Jeez. It's going to be off, that old boy. Cheers, mate. Oh, I thought you were going off then. I thought we were going to have an head injury. Okay, right, nemesis ahead. This is where you say, is this a good idea, bad idea, indifferent? And this hill climb on this bike, this tyres, I'm a bit indifferent to whether it is a good idea. The good thing about it is it's slow. You know, so the worst thing you're going to do is get stuck halfway up, and therefore, you know, you shouldn't be in too much danger. If you're coming down it and it went wrong, then obviously you're going to hurt yourself. But going up it and it going wrong, all you're doing is first gear, slow speed. So I'm gonna give it a go, obviously. And I'm so brave for trying it. But it's good fun. And this is why a small adventure bike is more fun than a big bike in a lot of times. Just round this corner we turn right. Okay. And then you're straight up into it. Right. There's a chance you go up and then it turns right steep, and there's a chance I'll get stuck there. Okay, I'll hang back. So, well, or just go around me. You know, if I get stuck, just go around me. Because once you lose momentum, it's all uphill. Okay. So, all right. He said he's not been riding long, but he's doing well. Doing well. All right, we're straight into it. Second gear, I'm going to start in second gear. Up. Bugger. First gear then. First gear. Come on, gradual. Expose rock, step. Come on. Ah. You go round. You alright? You alright? Yeah, I'm alright. I'm gonna turn round and have another go. Are you alright? First gear steady. Right, the Chuckle Brothers. God, look at that. I want that lightness. Right, let's have another go. That was awful, that was. Go on. Go on, he's up. Right. As I remember hill climb recovery? Leave it in gear, feather the clutch to roll back. Don't hold it on the brake or it will just slide. Now, what went wrong there for me? too slow for gravity to get on the clutch. I was in freeze panic mode, and I wasn't quick enough to get playing on that clutch. By the time I got on it, it's too late. So what we're going to do, and I panicked. I talked myself into danger. You know, I knew it was going to be tricky, and I talked myself into danger. Confidence is everything. Confidence in yourself, confidence in the bike. It's so important, and in the tyres, obviously. So, what we're going to do this next time is get up this fucking hill. Oops, a daisy. Shit me backwards. Who said this was a good idea? Who said this was a fucking good idea? Sorry for my French. So 4 attempts it took me on the 390. Let's see if we can better that on the 310. First gear. Come on, I can do this. Ready? My hip's playing up. I've got a bad hip. Oops, I've just... Oh, bugger. Right. Are you ready? Okay. Control your heart. Get focused. Head up. Pick a line. Power. Smooth. Go. Yep. Smooth. Go. Power. That's a bad start. But we're on it. Come on. First gear. Bit more power over these rocks. There we go. We're around. Yes, well done, well done, well done. Well done. Nearly dropped into it, but I missed it. Come on. Come on. First gear. Bit of spin up. Bit of dancing at the back. Come on. Come on. Try and get second if I can. Second gear. Chug, 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 chug. Wait back, wait back, wait back, wait back. Come on. You got it. Oh. Oh. No, don't be silly. No. I told you that it's that corner. If you just get that wrong line and then down that centre.
Yeah, that's it then, isn't it?
If you get wide of it,
Isn't it?
yeah. If your back end drops into it, then that you.
Yeah, again, it's local knowledge, isn't it? If you know they really left there, it's quite.
Yeah. Yeah, if you ride the bank, I've seen other people. So I see people call up on something like that, and they just stay over to the left because obviously they've got more to travel, and then they could just ride it straight round.
Right.
And I think that's the way on something like that. Just maybe stay left.
Yeah.
But equally, I think stay right, and then you sort of cross the rut and then ride it up and round.
Here, no bite then. Maybe not.
I don't. Okay.
No, maybe not.
Maybe. It's good fun. Up. Up, 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 up. Come on, get some confidence in it now. Come on, let's second gear it. That's it. Second gear. Up, 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 up. I mean, that's second gear, that's taking it. I'm going down to Throttle now. Ooh, I've got to say, ground clearance hasn't been an issue so far. It's only got a plastic sump guard, and that has not been troubled. And I would say we've had some pretty moderate rock steps so far. Oh, slip, 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 slip. Come on. Come on. Woo-ha! We're up. We're up. Whoa! Bit of a kick there. Good old GS310. Good old GS310. Oh, not a bad bike at all, Mr. 310 GS. Not a bad bike. Not a bad bike, slight broke. Looks like there's been some other bikes down here. And this drops into a gully. And now you question yourself, do I stay up? Do I drop into the gully? Do I ride the high line? Do I take the safer lower line? Always trying to read what's ahead. It's very easy to get your eyes stuck on your front wheel, and that's when you start, or when you stop anticipating or setting yourself up for the obstacles ahead. It's just going to come out of that. Whoop, bit of a grind out then. I don't know what gear I'm in. I think I'm in first. Oh, going to go up that. That looks a safe line there. Safe line. Always looking for safe line. Although this does put us slightly off camber. So we've got off camber. So I'm leaning that bike right up into the hill. I've got my left leg bent, hip over the left hand side of the bike, just to shift my weight to try and stop all the weight pushing the wheel out, the tyre out. It's a bit like skiing, I guess. Or maybe it's nothing like skiing, I'm not sure. Oh, we've got some exposed stuff here. Whoop, whoop. Light hands, light hands. Then bars are going to want to pull you around. And it's that fine line between holding on too tight for dear life and not holding on hard enough. Obviously you want to remain, it's almost like a relationship you have with the bars. There's no dominant party. Fucking hell, this looks terrifying. Oop. Terrifying. I might have to walk it down here, to be honest. This looks troublesome. Come on. Foot down. I'm cheating, footing down here. I don't normally foot down there, but I don't want to send this bike down here. Is he doing alright? Let's watch him. Decent little rider. Yeah. The joys of knobbly tyres and soft suspension. Or long. Oh fucking hell. Let's go this way. I mean, it's the wrong bike, isn't it? Let's be honest. It's not the first choice of bikes you'd choose to do this. It's not even the first choice of bikes out of the four I've got. CRF 250. But if you're worried, if you want a GS 310 and you're worried if it'll do off-road, I think it does off-road pretty well, actually. Well balanced, civilised motor, torquey, tenacious. I think that's a good trait for it. Suspension could do with a bit of KTM magic, to be honest. Or the Rally Raid. You know, if I was looking at a 310 GS now, I think I'd be looking at a good second-hand one for sort of 3.5, 3.8, and I'd be looking at spending £800 on some Rally Raid upgrade suspension. That's what I'd be doing. Wouldn't go brand new, because there's just too much money to be lost in it. Get a nice low mile second-hand one, uprate that suspension, proper hand guards, better tyres. You know, £4.5 grand, you'd have a lovely little bike. Maybe put Rally Raid stump guard on it as well, or some engine boards. Here we go. You know, it doesn't dance like the 390. It's softer, more gentle, less aggressive than the 390. Slower, less energetic, but still capable. Compared to the Himalayan, oh, that's a tricky one, isn't it? My love child, the Himalayan, different. You know, it's not. I've always favoured the Himalayan, but this one, it would hold it to task. Let's say that. Fucking hell. Up. just that front end. Oh, I think my back's had enough. Are you alright? Thank you, cheers for that.